What's up, guys? Into the Lair, episode 1, the Access Virus TI2. All right, so this is a new series. Kind of just wanted to candidly talk about not really the gear. Who cares? I want to talk about the why I use stuff and just kind of like a friendly, candid talk. So I think I said it a lot of times. The Access Virus TI2 is the greatest synth ever, right? In the last, let's just say, in my opinion, it's the greatest synth ever because it's digital and seems to still be unmatched. No matter what companies do, they can't seem to touch the Access Virus in terms of all the feature sets, the functionality, and everything. You can go over and watch my main channel. I got tons of videos about the Access Virus, very in-depth storytelling videos. I'll play a few sounds, but I really think Christoph Kemper knocked it out of the park with this one. I mean, it's a modern-day classic at this point. I haven't had it as long as I've had, other pieces. Of course, we got Sub 37 over there. We got the Prophet 6 down there. Had those forever. Obviously, we can talk about the Tempest. Maybe we'll talk about the Tempest sometime. But arguably, the Access Virus TI2 is, in my opinion, just the most crazy balls to the walls type synth that was ever made. And it's still better than, the only synth I could think that even matches it is probably a Waldorf Quantum at this point. The amount of stuff that you can do with the Access Virus TI2, including the multi-timbrality. Now, I don't use the multi-timbrality a ton, but with 100 plus voices on the 2 model, and I think it's 16 parts multi-timbrality. Fumbling over my words, but I think it's something that a crazy synth person who I am not would just go crazy for. And I think with all the other little boxes that they have around for, different brands that make digital synths, I think if you had one hardware piece, and if you're like a hardware person, this is the one. To me, it was 15 years ago, and it will be 15 years from now. When I use the Access Virus, it's always a joy. And I actually like it not because of the sound. I like it because it's easy to just use. Everything's laid out in front of you on the panel. The screen is the right size. It's just what you need, mod wheels. Everything is super premium. Knobs, super premium. You could do inputs and outputs. We can talk about all that. For those of you who have SPDIF on your interface and never use it, boom. You could get, I have mine hooked up via SPDIF, okay? So, if you want to be getting some use out of those jacks on your interface, this is for you. I know 99% of you don't use the SPDIF. It's kind of weird. I think if I was going to talk to somebody about the Access Virus TI2, it really would be that the sound is everything, but it's also nothing. I would use it. I actually used it on my last 2 records, probably more than any other synth. Next to, say, the Sub 37, because, the Sub 37 is undefeated to this day. Absolutely undefeated. But in terms of keys and actual pad sounds, which I don't really have on my records, I don't really do synth music, but the Access Virus just fits. It's always sort of this, I can find the sound eventually, and me being a preset person, it's got 4,000 presets. I think for a keyboardist, I think you really can feel the quality in the instrument. The keys are great. It's got it's got good expression. Actually, I think a lot of the underrated sounds on the Access Virus are the special effects sounds. I know I use these a lot, so I'm going to go to, I have, let's see, I think it's under EFX. Yeah, under EFX. Let's see. I think the sound of the EFX sounds very usable. Very usable for intros of tracks, things like that. Let's see, I'm trying to think of other things about the TI2 that it's also small. This is not a huge synth, right? It's compact. I would gig with something of this caliber just because of the functionality that you can do with it, the amount of voices. It is slightly heavy, but realistically, obviously you can do all kinds of stuff in the box. But if you're a hardware person and you've got to have that thing on your shelf, I think the Access Virus TI2 it's the one for the person who knows what they're buying. I know a lot of people ask me what synth to buy. I'm not trying to sell people on no new synths. I actually think most of the new synths are worse than the old stuff because you got to sign up for mailing lists. You got to add firmware. It might, all that kinds of stuff. Stuff like just rolls, right? Out of the box. Yeah, and I think really for the Access Virus TI2 is, to me, for like the person who knows and also the musician, like me, the musician. So, anyways, hope y'all liked listening to a little Access Virus TI2. And see you on the next episode of Into the Lair.